Sorry, guys. That's better. My bad. I totally have I totally have my camera the other way around. So what's up, guys? So awesome to see everyone here tonight, man. Today, today, whatever time it is where you're at. I'm just gonna shut my amp off real quick here. So let me know real quick, guys. Did you guys have a chance to see the video I posted on Facebook earlier? And it was basically my EVH tone. That was not EVH, by the way. But did you guys happen to see that? I know I posted it on my Facebook earlier, and I think I put a link up here. I'm just going through to see who all's on. Craig, what's up? Project Bass Guitar. Justin's on. Faceless. Acoustic. Wow, man. Raymond, Ed, DD. Timbo's on. What's up, guys? Man. Daniel's on. Cool, man. Slayson, what's up, dude? Awesome to see you guys here today, man. This is great. This is going to be an interesting episode because, man, I've got so many thoughts I want to know from you guys. First of all, can you guys hear me okay? I'm talking into a lapel mic, but my lapel mic's kind of at a distance here. So actually, I'm going to pull this in just a little bit. I'm in the process of getting a little bit better setup for my live here. So, Ariane, what's up, dude? Iron Mic's on. I like that. Iron Mic, man. That's cool. Um, anyway, so I posted a video earlier today, and this is kind of what I want to talk about with you guys. And I know this is like an endless conversation, by the way. So, real tube amps versus plugins. But before you answer that question, before you answer that, it's a little quiet, Daniel. I'm going to pull this in just a little bit more. Before you answer that question, guys, though, think about it for a minute, though, because I mean, naturally, we want to say, yeah, tube amps are the best, and I agree. But think about that from your perspective of recording your own guitar and all that good stuff, and just playing in your room and stuff like that. So let's hear it. Tube amps versus plug-in amps. Which one's really better, but go deeper in, can you really tell the difference in the sound? While you guys are letting me know, I'm going to pour myself a beer. What I'm drinking tonight is a beer called Unholy. This is good stuff, man. And it's totally unholy. Because it's like 9.5%, dude. This is by a brewery called Coppertail, which is a Tampa. You guys know me, man. I am a huge business supporter. And I know a lot of you guys are too. And I don't judge if you're not. That's not where I'm coming from. I'm just saying me being a small business essentially, I mean, I am a small business. You look around, this is what I do. You know what I mean? I am when you guys buy my music and listen to my music on Spotify and iTunes and buy my merch and support me, you guys are essentially supporting a very small business. We're a tiny business. And my wife helps run the music business as well. Um, so this is a local beer. Again, Coppertail Brewing. It's called Unholy. It's 9.5% and it's a triple. This will kick you in your rear fast if you have too many of them. I'm telling you, man. And even when you start getting into those 9.5%, those are some strong beers. Cheers, guys. All right, so we've got some comments coming on. Daniel never tried a tube amp. Daniel, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a secret. Tell all you guys a secret here. I've been playing guitar for, I suck at math, since like 1989, maybe 1990. Officially, probably 1990, the beginning. So do the math, however long that is. And I, dude, honestly, the first time I played through a tube amp, and you guys are gonna laugh at me. You're like, well, how can you be a, professional musician and not ever play through a tube amp? But the first time I played through a tube amp was not too long ago. I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't know when it was. I don't even remember. It was probably like some Fender tube amp too. It wasn't like it was a metal amp. I was probably playing through a Fender tube amp and didn't even realize it because I was trying out a buddy's amp or whatever. So Daniel, never played through a tube amp. I tell you that to let you know that I've been there. And thanks, dude. Yeah, I suck at math, so that's 30 years. Um, I just bought my first tube amp, the EVH that you guys saw on Facebook, me playing through Facebook earlier, and I've done some YouTube videos as well. Um, so Didi, you prefer traditional tube amps? Plugins are more. Yeah, plugins are good for recording. You're right, man. Daniel got a Warsigner, awesome, dude. So, Aaron, you got a Laney Ironheart, dude. Ironheart Studio at the end, and it works much better for me than any plugin. That's cool. I need to look that up, the Laney Ironheart. I have heard about that, and I've probably seen like a little glimpse of it here and there, but I need to dig in more of that. I've heard good things about that, dude. So if you have any more thoughts on that, please post them. Like as far as how it sounds at low volumes and that sort of thing. Like is the Laney Ironheart something you record directly into the interface, or is it something that you just record with the mic at low volumes? How does that work? Uh, yeah, acoustic. This is definitely Unholy Water, dude. So Ed Rudd, I can get 1,000 plugins for the price of one rectifier. That's why I took up guitar again, dude. I don't think the point can get clearer than that. But I mean, that's one of the things. And plugins nowadays are sounding so good. They're sounding extremely well. So yeah, you're right. You get all these plugins for the price of a. I totally get that, man. I totally get it. Faceless, you got a Marshall. You played a Marshall 9200, 200-watt channels. Wow, dude. But the software is sounding pretty good these days. Yeah, you see, that's a good point, dude. Man, yeah, Faceless, I'm old, dude. It does mean I'm old. Yeah. No cover charge. What's up, dude? It is a great damn day. Cover charge. Cheers. Cover charge, dude. I am drinking a local beer, dude. Well, I'm always drinking a local beer for the most part. Most of the time. This is Coppertail Brewing, dude. You probably heard of that. And I'm calling out cover charge here. No cover charge because he's actually pretty close to me, probably about an hour or so away. But that's the Unholy beer. It's a triple, 9.5%, dude. So acoustic, yeah, I did play through solid states back in the day, man. When I was playing with a band, it was like my first official band. I think I was probably 20 years old, 19, maybe I wasn't that old. I can't remember now, 18, 19, something like that. And I had a PV Bandit. I had a PV 212 Bandit, and man, I loved that amp. That was a cool sounding amp. And honestly, I didn't know really anything about tube amps at that point in time. I just started playing, and I was playing an RP10 Digitech processor through that amp. So really, I never even used that amp's distortion. I actually used the amps, so to speak, within the Digitech RP10, their distortions, and that's what I played through. And then I played with that amp for years. It shows on stage, and man, I never had any complaints. It always sounded good. And I was kind of in like an alternative style rock band, because at that time, everything was kind of going grungy and Nirvana-ish and Pearl Jam-ish and all that. But I was still playing 80s style metal and playing guitar solos. But the band I was in was kind of sort of merging to that point. So it was kind of a good mixture of a lot of different styles. But anyway, The name of that band was called Palin Genesea. You guys have never heard of it because we were popular back then in Pensacola. In some places in Alabama, people heard of us. You know, we had bumper stickers on cars, but we never like made it super mainstream. But Palin Genesea meant a new beginning in Greek. Later, I had a crate half stack, and it was a solid state crate half stack. And that was a pretty good sounding amp to a certain point. But the louder you turned that amp up, the suckier it got. So that's my amp experience, you know. But yeah, so Gary, you love modeling. Yes, it's gotten good, dude. Faceless, you're looking at PRS MT15. Heard a lot of good things about that. Arian talking about the Laney here. It's got a DI to interface, and you guys who are new, I think most of you have been on these before, but you guys are new. When I'm looking down here, I'm looking at my laptop so I can read all the comments. Um, so this Laney, man, this is really interesting. But so it's also got the USB, so the interface for an interface itself. Okay, cool. That's awesome, man. You need good IRs for it. No cover charge. Used to have the Mesa Dual Rec with a 412, dude. Man. And then the JCM 900, dude. That's 2 year. That's 2 amps that are just amazing right there, dude. The rectifier and then that Marshall, the JCM 900. Holy crap, dude. That's awesome. Really awesome. Craig, you got the Randall RH100. Yeah, I saw a picture of that in your Facebook post. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, no cover charge. We gotta hook up with some beer here soon, man. We gotta do that for sure. Schlason, don't actually even own an amp. You're a pedal and headphones guy. You just picked up the Bias FX2. Bias FX2, I kind of changed my opinion on that recently. I don't know if you guys caught my video. I think a week or so ago. I was finally able to dial in a metal tone. The one thing I'll tell you about Bias FX2, those of you who use that, was don't expect your Bias FX1, the original, don't expect those tones to sound the same in 2. They don't. Man, I had my tread plate tone in Bias FX1. I replicated that in FX2 and I'm like, okay, this sounds like poop, man. What happened? But I kind of like laid it down for a while and I just went back to using it. I don't know that I'll ever use that for an album or anything like that, but it is good for practice and stuff like that. So, not owning an amp's not a bad thing though, dude. I mean, we live in a digital world. I mean, I'm virtually paperless these days, and a lot of the hardware type stuff, my wife and I are like in the midst of really just downsizing and just getting rid of a lot of the fluff in life, in general that we just don't need. So that's good to do with people sometimes too. Oh man, that probably didn't sound very good. All right. So somebody recommended a diesel for about $3.99. I'm not familiar with diesel amps. I know their tube amps are pretty expensive, dude. They're pretty up there in price. I've kind of been turned off by that. Sometimes like real high price stuff, sometimes it's worth it, but in my opinion, a lot of times, it's really not worth it. So if I see a guitar amp that costs, $4,000 or $5,000, but then there's like something else that in that same genre for half the price, I want to try out that half price one first, And a lot of times there's not, or a lot of times it just depends on what you like and what sounds good to you. I've played cheaper guitars that sounded and played way better than guitars, quadruple the price. You know what I mean? No cover charge. That Vox is cool, dude. That Vox 30. I was borrowing one from someone many, many years ago, and that's a nice little amp, dude. A really nice amp. So Gary, you got the classic 30. You never sounded quite the same day after day. Okay, yeah. I get that, dude. Didi, you're asking about module amps. So that was the diesel, the module. I'm not familiar with module amps. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that. No cover charge. So have I heard of the band Propane? I have not heard of them, dude. I'll have to check them out, dude. The Skate Bear Show's here. What's up, Ricardo? Hey, man. So you didn't receive an email when you subscribed to my site? Dude, I will remember that. I'll go back and I'll make sure you get that. Sometimes when you sign up for my email, by the way, I'm going to put this in here real quick, guys, for you that don't have it. Most of you already know this, but I've been giving away a free guitar lesson guide. So if you guys want that, I thought I had this copied, but I don't. Hold on one second, guys. All right, here we go. Now I just want to paste this in the chat here. If you metal guitar lesson guide, I've been giving away this for a long time here. So if you don't have that guide, sign up. I don't spam you guys. You guys know that. I do send some product offers from time to time, but they're my own products. You know, it's just my own stuff. That's how I make a living. So you will get that like once a week, sometimes once every other week, and I'll notify you when we're doing live stuff like this. So that's about all you'll get from me. There's a couple emails that go out in the beginning, just showing you all the stuff that I have available out there. So, but yeah, sign up for that, guys. If you haven't, just click that link and that I just pasted in there. All right, so I'm going back up propane. Ricardo, I'll look into that though, brother. I'll look into why you didn't get that. But check your spam. Sometimes my emails, they should not get sent to your spam, but sometimes they do. It's just how it works. Propane is fossil fuel. Nice. Native Instruments, Guitar Rig 5, William. Hey, William, what's up, dude? So I played Guitar Rig, I think, 2. So this has been many years ago. And I wasn't that impressed with it, dude. Wasn't that impressed at all with it. So I don't know about 5. Like I said, I know pretty much every plug-in manufacturer has come so far. Like even the ones that used to kind of suck don't suck anymore. Like Amplitude, when it came out with the first version of Amplitude, it was okay for some sounds, but for like the harder stuff, the metal, eh. But then when it got up to 3, I was like, okay, well this is pretty cool. And I don't own 4. I think I stopped at 3. There's so many plugins out there, man, and I don't know about you, but I can't afford to buy them all. Like I'll download the demos, and a lot of times, like, okay, that's awesome, but I've already got something that sounds like that, so I'm not gonna buy another. You know what I mean? So DD, the Randall or Marshall, but the Diesel is a dream amp. Yeah, I'd love to play through a Diesel, dude. I'm sure if I plugged into one, I'd probably be like, holy crap, okay, maybe this is worth the $5,000 or however much it costs. You know what I mean? So cool. All right, no cover charge. Yeah, I like I like this the Skate Beer Show's name too, man. That's pretty awesome, dude. Okay, knowing the spam's not there. All right, I'll look into that, dude. I'll just shoot you one over. I think I have your email anyway. So no cover charge. You record all your guitars with Reaper stock plugins, and then double track with a mic'd amp. That's a really good method, dude. And I'm actually like I'm getting ready to start recording a new album here pretty soon. I'm trying to work on 2 projects simultaneously. That's not something I ever recommend, but it's just something I'm doing. But I do want to do that though because I'm playing through the Fortin. What's this off right now? But I'm playing through the Fortin NTS. You guys can see up here. I think you can see it anyway. That little red thing, that's the Fortin NTS by Neural DSP. Neural DSP is on fire right now, by the way, man. They are coming out with plugins left and right, and I don't have time to go play through all of them. I played through a few, and they're good, but it's like, Positive Grid's kind of doing the same thing, you know what I mean? I've got FX2 and Bias Amp 2, so it's like, okay. But their Fortin, I bought that. The Fortin NTS is just a badass plugin, man. So for metal, it's not great for anything else, so just be honest with you. But for metal, holy crap, dude, that amp is awesome. And I was comparing the tone I was playing out here earlier with the mic EVH tone that I put on Facebook earlier today. So definitely check that out later if you guys haven't heard that yet. And I compared my recordings. I'm like, man, they're really very similar. I can't tell that, that much difference. So, to the point, plugins are getting awesome. I still love my EVH amp. I've got a lot of tweaking and a lot more playing to do through it because it's still very new to me. So I'm going to really play through that a lot and just really get comfortable with it. Because I'm telling you, dude, playing, and you guys know this, playing through a tube amp is much different than plugging into the studio and playing through a plug-in or a VST. Because playing through a tube amp, you have to kind of fight with it a little bit, not in a bad way, but I compare it to lifting free weights versus lifting, just working out on machines. You know what I mean? With free weights, you've got to balance the weight, man. And you've got like a natural curvature to your movements, and there's just a lot more muscles that are recruited. Whereas machines, everything's kind of targeted. You can get a good workout, it's great, but it's kind of targeted, it's a lot smoother. So tube amps are free weights essentially. You got to battle with it a little bit, you know what I mean? You've got to kind of like control it. Whereas plugging in through a plug-in in the studio or in your room or whatever, it's like you just plug in and you just start playing. There's no fight. You just start jamming. So does that make sense? I think, that's the best way I can describe that. Um, all right, where are we at here, guys? So yeah, using the plug-in to lay down the initial track, no cover charge is smart, dude. I do that with everything I write, and to be honest with you guys, I think you guys know this anyway, but every album I've released up to this point, I've used virtual amps. It just made sense to do that. I dialed in a really nice tone for my last three albums. Now, my very first album, Apocalyptic Dreams, and I think a lot of you know this, I got it laying down over here. I used the HD 500, and I released that in 2013. So yeah, I just realized I haven't even sipped my beer, so I'm gonna sip my beer here. Cheers, guys. Hey, by the way, what are you guys drinking tonight? This is Chops and Hops, by the way. So post what you're drinking, guys. I'd like to know. Faceless dude, I didn't know about the new plugin they're coming out with tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to check that out. But no cover charge. I want to go back to your point, because I'm very passionate about what you're doing, because that's exactly how I want to do my next project. I want to record the initial tracks with a plug-in, then go back and record those tracks. Record new tracks with a live amp, and you can either at that point decide which one you like best, or like you said, merge them together, man. I always record two tracks anyway, so I'll record my hard pan left and hard pan right with a plug-in, and I'll come back and record two new tracks with the mic amp, and then play around with the levels. And I think we'll get some awesome tones that way, man. That's gonna be really good. So yeah, Faceless, the settings on a tube amp are always different, dude. It's like it's funny how that works. Always different, dude. The 5150 big block. It's a nice. And then you traded that for the JCM. That's crazy, dude. That's awesome, man. 5150s are great for metal. Joe Satriani used that on a lot of his albums, and of course Satch is not metal, but for some of his stuff that was a little bit more edgier, I think he used the 5150. His new album, Joe Satriani's new album, and I don't even remember the name of it, but it just came out. Man, I'm like, wow, he really went back to his roots of playing. He really went back to his roots of like Flying in a Blue Dream and Surfing with the Alien, that kind of stuff. Really good stuff. All right, so Faceless has got lemon beer, no percentage, dude. Oh man. Slason's got a Coors Light. Sometimes you need to feel like you're camping, dude. I love it. No cover charges. Got Bud Light and Jaeger. I assume not together, dude. Raymond, nothing. DD water. Cool, man. I'm just trying to get Timbo, dude. Schufferhofer Weissen. That's a German. That sounds like a German beer, and I'm pretty sure that's a German beer, dude. That's awesome, man. Raymond, Shapelifting. Never heard of that, dude. Wow. Ed's got an M43 Hazy. Hazy IPAs are good, dude. Vafa. Good rule, dude. I normally stick to that. So I used to have a hard rule. I don't touch any beer or anything during the week. And then, wait for the weekends to let it go. And that's a very good rule to have. So got a Ballast Point Session IPA. Session IPAs are awesome. And a Fathom IPA. Wow, dude. Green Flash Hazy IPA lately. Wow. So Vafa, cheers to you tomorrow. Yeah, I used to have a hard rule about that, man. No drinking during the week, and I don't drink every day, but I probably do drink about 4 days a week, sometimes 5. But I usually try to have at least 2 days that I don't. Didi, you got a Fender combo amp. Nothing fancy at the moment. You know what, dude? I have got a Fender sitting over here. I've got a Fender Mustang 4. You guys have probably seen my old videos from a few years ago, and I was miking that. If you don't, go like after this, go back and look at my channel, and just look on my channel. Just type in my name, Jason Stallworth, Fender Mustang, and you'll see like, I don't know, 3 or 4 videos on the Fender Mustang amp, and it's mic'd. I didn't like run it through the interface or anything. It is completely mic'd, and it sounds pretty damn good. I mean, for a modeling amp, I swear that amp's it's like the cheapest modeling amp you can get. It's a 212. It's a Fender Mustang 4 first generation. I haven't played the ones after that, but it's Really nice tone. So Acoustic Love and Apocalyptic Dreams, thank you, dude. Man, so my HD 500 patches are on Line 6 custom tone. Look up username Uncle Jason. That was my stage name a long time ago. I used to get picked on by this guy, and it was in church, of all places. And he was stronger than everybody. I mean, he did it all in good fun or whatever, but he would hold us down. He would slap us in the nuts and like hold us down and say, "Call me Uncle Chad," before he would let us get up. So, okay, Uncle Chad. So later, I started lifting weights and gained some size. I was real scrawny back then. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be the big dude that takes care of everybody, and I'm not going to be a dick. So I called myself Uncle Jason, but I was the cool Uncle Jason. The one that's like, hey, if you're being messed with, I'm going to come help you and protect you from the asshole bullies. So anyway, that's how Uncle Jason came about. Little backstory there from way back, man. Oh, man. Yeah, the Fender combo amps are awesome, dude. They're really, really cool. Craig, yes, dude. Project Bass Guitar 777. Yes, I rearranged my studio. You guys can see my good friend Rob, his keyboard is over here. And what else did I do? I'm in a separate project, by the way, with my friend Rob. We're calling ourselves the Flow Bros. And Flow, for those of you who are not in the Florida region, Flow is basically means Florida. And him and I both are Floridians. We're both he was born here in this area, and I was born in Pensacola, so we're both native Floridians. So the Flow Bros, that's like more of it's totally not metal at all. And we're hoping to play live around the area here soon once this virus goes away or whatever happens. But when it's safe to get out and when we can do that, we plan on playing out. It's more of kind of like a 80s rock band, But yeah, Craig, I rearranged my studio. I put some stuff over here. That's my strings, and I've got some old interfaces and just some like stuff, string winders and CDs and whatever. That's in the little thing over here. I used to have my EVH. My EVH is actually over there where you guys can't see it. It's on the other side of the wall. This room is 10 by 11. It's tiny, and because my buddy left his huge keyboard over here, it takes up like half my room. I'm like, I've got to rearrange this thing. So I had a chair in here too, and that was to kind of help absorb some of the sound because it's all cloth. But I'm gonna have to put some wall panels up here pretty soon. But yeah, anyway, that's the rearrangement I did today. I was gonna make a YouTube video, and instead I rearranged my whole studio. So oh man. No, Arian, and I see you guys talking about blending the amps, and no cover charge. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're not really blending those together. What we're doing is recording a track with a plug-in, and then recording a completely separate track with a live tube amp, and and maybe record multiple tracks, however you record them, but just blending those together in the mix itself. Like here's your guitar track with the tube amp, here's your one with the plug-in, and just adjusting the volume so that they come together. So that in theory that shouldn't be muddy. That's just going to give you that, I think, guys, will give you just different tones that you don't hear elsewhere, and that's what's cool about that. Okay, Raymond, Shape Shifting, that's the name of that album, the new Joe album, dude. That album, man, is just beautiful. And in fact, when we're done here tonight, I'm going to work some more on my patio, and I'm going to listen to Joe Satriani. So I'm a good guy. I'm telling you guys to listen to Satriani, not even saying listen to my own music. You guys should be listening to me instead. No, I'm kidding. Joe Satriani, he's one of the reasons, though. I think he's one of the reasons a lot of us play guitar, man, especially if you're anywhere close to my age, especially that age. It's a really, really, really good album. Jason Voorhees, I'm reading through these guys. Yeah, faceless modeling amps. You good point, dude. Modeling amps sound phenomenal at low volume, but it's when you start even my Fender Mustang. If I were to crank it up, it sounds amazing at low volume. But if I were to really crank it, yeah, it's gonna sound like poop. You're like, what is this? Oh man. Yeah, Satch is amazing, dude. Grow Big SD, man. What's up, dude? So you just cracked a beer. What beer did you crack, man? I gotta know. I like that name, Grow Big, man. You must lift weights, dude. Yeah, no cover. I'm gonna check out some propane, dude. I'm gonna check out some of that tonight as well. You mentioned that, so that's something I'm gonna put on my list to take a look at or take a listen to. Faceless, yeah, dude, surfing with an alien. It is. The funny thing is, if you listen to Satriani's tone on that album, it sounds like he's playing through an old school effects processor. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like. That does not sound like an amp, like a tube amp, but it's still cool. And I guess that's one of the points that I wanted to make up when I put in the title here. One of the things I want to talk about is tube amps versus plugins. Is at the end of the day, I think a lot of tone, and I'm probably going to make an extended video about this. A lot of your tone is really in your hands. It's not so much the amp or the guitar. I mean, that's part of it. It's a huge part of it, but a lot of the tone just comes from how you play, your attack. The feeling you put into your playing. You know, I can play a G chord and a D chord and a C chord, and then all of you on here could play the same thing, and I guarantee you, we could do that through the same amp, and I guarantee you every one of our tones are going to sound different because we have different styles. You know what I mean? So that's just that. This is interesting, Didi. You said you would go if you had to choose, you go with a cheap guitar and expensive amp. Yeah, I got to think about that one, man. I got to really think about that one. So that's interesting. Hmm. Yeah, yes. Satch taught Steve Vai. I remember that. I've got Satriani. I don't have the book in here. I used to have it on the shelf over there, but I just rearranged my whole studio, so I don't know where anything is. But I've got his Strange Beautiful Music book, and that's Satch. The thing about Satriani is he lived and breathed guitar. I love reading some of the rock star biographies. Like I've got Dave Mustaine's, I've got Dave Ellison's, I got a few more. I read Slash, and they all talk about getting high and all this stuff and almost dying and all this crap. But Joe's biography was completely him just being fascinated and just like saturated. That was not a pun. Saturated. Actually, it was a good pun. But like, was just saturated in guitar. That's all. I mean, that's all he talked about. So no wonder he is who he is today. And it makes me look back on my own life. It's like, man, and I try to ingrain myself as much as practice in here as possible. I practice a lot these days, man. I do it. I sleep less and practice more. And I know a lot of you guys do as well. But no wonder Satch is like the god, of guitar because he just practiced and practiced and practiced. So, yeah, Piano Noir, I hear what you're saying. You don't really get any benefits from the nice guitar on a shit amp. Yeah, you've got a big point there. I mean, yeah, if you're playing through a crappy amp, you can't polish a turd like, like my father-in-law says sometimes. Oh man, Grow Big. So you got a Stone IPA, dude. Stone IPA is good. They make some good beers. I like their beers that they have that's seasonal. Like they'll come out with like a Christmas beer and New Year's beer, and it's like drink by a certain date. They'll have the date on there. So it's really really cool. Yeah, I didn't know. I had forgotten where Stone IPA was based out of. So they're West Coast. Good stuff. Good, but not your favorite. What's your favorite, dude? I'm curious. I don't know where you're from, man. So it's interesting to find out where folks are from and what kind of beers they have access to. Yeah, Satch played through his rack mounts, dude. He played through his rack mounts, his preamps, power amps. He even used a drum machine like on some of his stuff way back then. I was just, I was like really happy about how transparent he was, doing that. So Faceless, you'll take the expensive guitar. Once you have owned a Ferrari, you can't go back to yeah. That is a good point, man. Once you play certain guitars, like my ESP over here, the E2 just plays so effortlessly. It's really hard to pick up some other guitars. Now my 6-string ESP plays awesome too, the M1000 Deluxe, and it's not a super high end model, but it plays just like gold, man. But yeah, sometimes I will go to a guitar shop and I'll play other guitars. It's like nothing is appealing to me at all. It's weird. So Skate Beer Show, Ricardo, you got the Ibanez IBZ528E. Don't like it so much because sometimes it makes strange noises. Huh. What amp for a small studio? Guys, help Skate Beer Show out for the best amp for a small studio. And dude, I'm assuming you want to record. Do you want to record through a tube amp with it mic'd, or are you looking for an amp that you can just kind of plug in directly to an interface? So I think that will, you know, To get the right answer, we'll have to know that. Yeah, cryptic amps are usually more helpful in terms of tone quality. Yeah, because especially when you're recording an amp, you've got that. And I know we talked about this in the past. And No Cover Charge, you and I specifically talked about this with a tube amp with it mic'd. You've got that air push. There's just something about that air push that you just feel it when you play it. You know that you just can't replicate. Now that being said, whenever you record a guitar track, here's the other interesting thing about tube amps versus plugins. Whenever you record a guitar track, by the time you record that and get it in the studio, and then it goes through whatever compression and whatever mastering and mixing and all the things that happen to it, it's kind of like dumbed down to like just a digital track when it's all said and done by the time it gets released. So that's one of the things. It's like, well, I don't know if there's a huge difference in, as far as recording tube amps and today's plugins. Now, yesterday's plugins, yesterday being like 2 years ago and beyond, yeah, huge difference. But today, now, I don't know if there's a huge difference. Now, what I will say, oh, Faceless, you mentioned the Boss Katana. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that, dude. Heard a lot of good things about that amp, man. I think Kevin Versard just got one of those, if I'm not mistaken. We did a collaboration a while back. That was pretty cool. I'd like to collab with him again. He's a pretty cool dude. Big dude too, man. He's twice my size. Makes me look tiny. Oh man. Piano Noir, the Engel Gigmaster. I have never actually played through an Engel amp, but a lot of the bands I like play through Engel amps, and they have a magical tone. I'd love to have like the Invader or even the Engel Savage Jeff Loomis played through. That's a really nice amp. DD got the Ibanez Geo. Yeah, that Ibanez makes great guitars, man. That's just, in my opinion, if you're just starting out or even a mid-grade player, you just want something kind of middle of the road, I think Ibanez, and I will say ESP and Jackson as well. If you stick with those three, you can't go wrong. Recording tube amps is expensive. I paid, crap, how much did I pay, man, for my EVH? I've got the 50-watt head, it's the EL34 version, the 212 cab. That was about $1,500, and that's, that's kind of pricey. Piano Noir, you're out, dude. Have a good night, brother. Thank you for joining, man. Yeah, no contest. Yeah, the tube amps are gonna win as opposed to plug-ins. Yeah, but you're right. You do need a good mic, and you need good mic placement and all that. Actually, I was gonna make a video on mic placement today. I was gonna give you guys three. I'm probably gonna make it over the weekends. 3 different placements that I'm testing out. Center of the cone, off to the center, and then way off to the center. And I might do a 4th with it kind of in the middle somewhere, but off axis. So I'm gonna be putting that out probably next week for you guys, because I want your opinion on those tones. Because guys, what you tell me, your opinions are gonna have a lot to do with how I record my next album. So you're gonna help me. All right, so Piano Noir, you got the Powerball, man. That's a powerful amp. So the Engel Fireball 25 is coming out soon, man. That would be cool to have. Double G, the Laney Ironheart, dude. What's up? Someone else mentioned the Laney Ironheart earlier, and I'd really like to dig into that. Yeah, $1,500 for a killer amp and cab. It's really not a bad price, dude. And it's a 50-watt. And in all honesty, like 50 watts is plenty to play the places I'm probably going to be playing over the next few years. And if you're in some giant stadium, or something like that, and okay, you've got your half stacks, but I think half stacks have been really just for show, because the 412 cabinet just looks a lot cooler than a small 212. You know what I mean? And the huge heads, it just looks good, and I totally get it. But what I have, the 50-watt amp, is just really just perfect for what I need it for. Ibanez Geo 7-string. So you put the Seymour Duncan Nazgul in the bridge. Nice, dude. Nice. I'm getting ready to change out my pickups in my Ibanez. I think you guys saw my post. I don't know if you're in my... Let me get this link for you real quick. I don't know if you're in my Facebook guitar group, my metal guitar players group. I'm gonna pull that up really quick here because I'd like, if you guys aren't in there, I'd like you guys to join because we're a lot of people are posting stuff in there now. So let me just pull this up real quick. All right, here it is. Okay, Metal Guitar Players Facebook group. So there it is. All right, so that's um, it'll send me a message to like because I have it as a private invite. I don't want the whole world coming into this group. I want to keep it just to us metal guitar players, and that's a good way for me to keep the spammers out. So yeah, yeah. No cover. There will be absolutely some mic amps in my next stuff, dude. In my next recording, that's an absolute. So if I get a 412 and if I plug in and play through a 412, I'm never going back to a 212. Is that what we're saying? Actually, I thought about trying to find a used Marshall 412 cab, and in connecting, I gotta make sure the ohms and all that like matches. I'm pretty sure it does, and play my EVH through that. And actually, I've got the ohm switch meter on the back of that amp. That amp is just like pristine, man. It's an awesome amp. So yeah. All right. Who just ordered a 7 string? The the gamer say New York just ordered your first 7 string. Saw my videos and tips about the. So you watched my transition from 6 to 7 string video. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad that helps. Um, it's how long does it take to get used to it? Well, I'm gonna say this. What I'm gonna tell you about a 7 string because it is a different world, man. I'm gonna tell you to practice every single day. Play that thing every day, man. Spend time with it because if you and I know life gets in the way sometimes. You have to work, you have to do this and that. I get that, but with trying out something new like that, you really have to engulf yourself in it and just submerge yourself in it for a long time every single day. So just like schedule the time if you have to. Um, that's really the only way for me to determine how long it's going to take you to get used to it. If you submerge yourself in it every single day, 2 3 weeks, you'll be like, okay, this is starting to feel better. I'll tell you, my 7 string experience. I've owned this thing for like over a year now, a little over a year now, and even in the past few months, at the beginning of this year, there were times where I considered getting rid of it and just going back to 6 string. And I know that sounds like really horrible because I do love that guitar, but I would play my 7 string and then I would pick up my six and I'm like, okay, this feels more like home. What changed for me? And no cover charge, you're gonna like this. What changed for me is when I got my EVH amp and I plugged my 7 string into that EVH amp, I was like, oh dear God, this is freaking awesome. And then I'm like, I'm never getting rid of that 7 string guitar. I will never get rid of it. Now, if I did sell that particular one, I would just get probably a little less expensive 7 string. Because that guitar, man, this is the E2 Horizon FR7, and it's the ESP. It's made out of in the Japan factory. It's a beautiful guitar. It plays awesome. I'm not a huge fan of the EMG 707 pickups. They're slightly muddy, and EMG would shoot me if they heard me say that. But I don't know. There's something I'm missing. There's some clarity I'm missing. But if I ever got rid of that, I would just get probably a cheaper version because that thing was way too much money. I shouldn't have spent that much money on it. But anyway, yeah. So just spend time with it every day, man. That's the only thing I can tell you. Yeah, I'm not busting out my wallet, DD, to pay that much money, dude. No way, man. Hey, peace out, look overcharge. Thanks, brother. Thanks for being in, man. I'll check out propane for sure, dude. Fender owns Jackson? I don't know, dude. I didn't know that. I do think Fender manufactures the EVH amp that I have, which explains its good clean tone. But I didn't know. Companies are always buying each other out. So Ed, you would think half stacks and expensive tube amps are far more, are more for pros who are playing gigs live. Yeah, I don't. When you say for pros playing gigs live, I would say anyone who is playing like really big events. So I mean that of course that would be a pro, like playing stadiums and stuff like that. But even then, they're miking all those amps too to come out of some really awesome PA speakers. You know what I mean? So they've got like the entire system set up. But yeah, half stacks, you know, and a lot of pro bands, you know, are playing smaller gigs these days too. But um, half stacks, I just think they're overkill for the most part. I think you can get by with a 212. Um, there is a certain sound out of a half stack that's going to be just deeper and just more punch to it. So you know, but then in the mix of everything else, I don't know that you're going to notice that much, especially live. That skull, dude. Jack, this skull came from. I think we got this from Old Time Pottery, which is a store. I don't know if they're just Florida or what, but I found this, dude, and I love this thing, man. It's pretty awesome. In fact, that skull right there. I got to show you guys this. That skull I just showed you actually ended up being on the cover of one of my singles, and I'm gonna share the link with you real quick here. Let me find this. Hold on 1 second. For some reason, it didn't go to my page. All right, so you saw that skull just now. This right here. Look at the link real quick that I just sent you guys. It goes to a single, a Christmas single that I released a long time ago. I think it was like 2017. But look at this and just click that link real quick. Like open a new tab so it doesn't take you out of the chat. But just click on that and you'll see what I'm talking about. I actually used that for something really cool. So yeah. All right. Yeah, Danny, you gotta challenge yourself, dude. Try the 7, man. Just definitely spend time with your axe. Ooh, vintage 30s. Yes, I want some vintage 30s, man. I'm just catching up here, guys. I like to keep up. Never played a baritone, DD. I don't think that I ever will, man. I am not fascinated at all about playing super low notes. It's just, I'm not saying anything negative about like super low notes. It's cool. A lot of people do it and it sounds great. It's just not my thing though. Don't really care about playing super low notes. I almost didn't want a 7 string. The thing was I was starting to sing death metal and I didn't know I had that. I've been a vocalist as long as I've been a guitarist. And I didn't know that I had this death metal thing in me. And just one day I woke up and I wanted to do it, so I started training for it and started working on that type of vocals. And I was like, you know, I got some opinions from a couple friends that are truly critics of me, and they will tell me if I'm sucking or not. They'll be really honest with me, and they're like, dude, you need to do this. So that and I started recording Masterpiece. That being said, though, when I found out that I had that death metal voice, I'm like, you know what? I think I need some heavier notes to kind of fit that. You know what I mean? Which is kind of funny because there's one song on that album called Never Enough, and the chorus of the song is actually played in just the normal A key of A, which is crazy. And I'm singing death metal behind it, and it actually blends quite nice. But for the most part, I wanted those heavier notes. So, but you know, that being said, I don't have any interest in playing anything else other than a 7 string. Like I said, I almost got rid of my 7 string the beginning of the year. I battled with it, man, big time. Okay, so mono or stereo when recording guitar tracks, I always go mono, dude. I never, there's one situation I'll go stereo, and that's if I have like a lead guitar track where there's a ping pong delay, and I'll record the track. But I'll just switch it to stereo, and that's usually with a plug-in. But what I do acoustic for guitar tracks, and this is better than recording in stereo, because it's hard to get true stereo anyway. But I play one guitar track, one mono track, then I hard pan it left. And a lot of you already know I do this. Then I play a second track, a second mono track, and I'll hard pan that right. And actually, when I'm recording that second track, that individual track mono, I'll already have it panned right. So then when I'm hearing my guitar track I recorded here on the left side, I now hear my other guitar being played on the right side, and it helps you record and keep your timing a lot better. And with those tracks panned, it gives you a true stereo effect. But The cool thing is, and this is extremely important, guys, when you're recording, the cool thing is recording those two guitars in mono and hard panning them, you hear those little slight nuances because you're not going to play it exactly the same. And those little, now you don't want it to like be completely off, but those little slight nuances of the timing and stuff just makes the album, makes the song come alive, in my opinion. So that's how I record my guitar tracks, always mono. Mike, dude, so you bought the ESP LTD M1000? Ooh, 1001. That's awesome, dude. ESP should send me a commission check for that. No, but seriously, I'm glad that I'm always humbled to hear that when I hear you guys started playing something or bought something because you saw a video of mine. First of all, I appreciate that. I'm extremely humbled by that, and I just think it's cool because one thing about this channel that you guys are watching right now, this channel is for you. It's for metal guitar players. And, yeah, I advertise my music sometimes and, that kind of stuff because that's how I make my living. But this is for you, and that's what it's all about. So if I help you in any way, like if it's a lesson I give you, and like, well, crap, dude, this helped my guitar playing go from like level 7 to 8 fast, or if you guys, a piece of gear that I'm looking at and you guys buy it and you love it, dude, that's awesome. I've done my job, So Mike, thank you for that, dude. I'm glad you like that. That guitar is awesome, by the way. Dude, ESP just makes, like, I hope they endorse me one day, man. If I can ever get big enough for them to look at me like, oh, who's this guy Jason Stallworth, I'd love for them to endorse me because I'd love to have a signature Jason Stallworth ESP guitar someday. That's kind of one of my goals. But yeah. Yeah, Dan, you gotta be brutally honest, dude. I try to be brutally honest, but I try not to be a jerk about it, but life's too short not to be honest, dude. So, reading through here. Oh, so you use Audacity. Cool. I don't think I've ever used Audacity before. Irion, so you said you said I mute the already recorded side when you record the other side. I'm most precise playing to tick only. Yeah, that's a good rule. But now, Irion, I will say this though, dude. Just try it one time if you haven't already, and if you already tried this, forgive me, but try recording that one track and then panning it all the way to the left, and then pan your new track 2 all the way to the right and start recording that. Record that with headphones. You might be surprised about how that turns out, man. And it may not. I don't know. It might not work as well for you, but I just wanted to just kind of plant that seed because try it out and see how you like it, dude. Dan, what's up, dude? Good to see you on here, man. The gamers say. So yeah, ESP 7 string. So it's an LTD H1007. The passive Seymour Duncan pickups. Dude, I would love to try an ESP with passive Seymour Duncan pickups. Really like to try that, man. Faceless, yeah, dude. I just need to write them and ask them, right? I mean, you know what? Sometimes, a lot of times, that's the obvious answer is right there in front of our face. So you know what, Faceless, tomorrow that's gonna be one of the things I do. Or tonight, actually, I might write them tonight. Tomorrow's my wife's birthday. Tomorrow, May 1st, is her birthday. So I told her that I am not doing any work. I'm not doing any music or any. So you guys will not hear anything from me tomorrow, except for happy birthday to my wife, because she's the most important thing in my life. So that's her birthday's tomorrow. So we're just gonna hang out. I don't even know what we're gonna do yet because everything's still kind of closed. I mean, naturally we'd go out to dinner somewhere, but can't really do that. So we are gonna go to this really cool gourmet place, Wright's Gourmet in Tampa. And she likes some specific things that they have. So we're going to pick some of those up, and bring them back home. But we'll probably just hang out. Who knows? We're going to do whatever she wants to do. We might end up watching Netflix all day. And that's fine, too. So, yeah, dude. Yeah, Mike, Faceless, both of you, man. I'm going to reach out to their artist relations, and I'm going to go for it. I do make sure I tag them in my Instagram, and most of my Instagram stuff I put out there. I don't know if they have an active social media manager, but, Yes, thank you, Daniel. Thanks, dude. Well, Craig, I guess my wife's already a year younger in Australia, huh, dude? Thank you, Fish. Thank you, guys. Oh, dude, Ed, so you liking the 5 Thrash Metal Roast? Yeah, I just put that out there like a week or so ago, man. And thanks, I'm glad you like that, dude. I really took a lot of time on that video, man, when I recorded it, because there were just some specific elements of thrash metal that I wanted you guys to hear and kind of grasp. And a lot of times, these things, some of these stuff that I put out there are things you already know, but it's just reiterating some good practices and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? And even myself, as long as I've been playing music, sometimes I have to go back to basic stuff. You know, sometimes I have to go back and like, okay, well, let me revisit this, because you evolve as a guitar player over the years. You know what I mean? So, Timbo, good night, brother. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming on. I know it's late there in Germany, and all of you guys overseas in Germany and UK and Australia. I really hope to visit you guys someday, man. I'd love to come over there. Oh, dude, same time, dudes. Oh man, Faceless and Timbo, same time. Thank you guys for staying up and hanging out, though. I really appreciate it. So, Dan, you like some Viking music? Yeah, I like. Speaking of Viking music, and I don't know that they're really Vikings, but I love some Amon Amarth. Man, absolutely love them. Here, I'll see you, dude. Thanks for joining, man. Thank you so much, dude. I know it's late over there. That's why I used to do this a little bit later at night, and I think I used to do this series at like 7 or 7:30, but I backed it down just an hour, because I'm trying to cater to the people on the west coast of the states of the U.S. as well. And if I do it too early, a lot of those people are still working or whatever. You know what I mean? So, um, but who knows? I may dial this back like an hour or something. We'll see how that goes next week. So, Mike, thanks, dude. Thanks for dropping in, man. I know a couple of folks are having to check out now. Nicholas, dude, I've got followers from Spain, dude. Hola, brother. Man, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, Amon Amarth melodic. Yeah, you're right. And I think somebody, Cryptic, I think somebody called them Viking metal in one of the interviews, and Johan was like, "We're not really Viking metal. A lot of our themes are kind of like Nordic and that sort of thing." But you're absolutely right, melodic death metal. And I'll say right now, that's probably my absolute favorite style of music, man. I listen to Amon Amarth a lot, and I love Arch Enemy. Dude, Arch Enemy's awesome. Slason, you're from Alaska, dude. That's awesome. I think I saw that before. So yeah, man, it's only 3:30 over there. Yeah, I guess that's the that whole time zone, that whole side there. That's another place I've yet to visit. I haven't been to that many places, and dude, I want to travel everywhere. The beauty of it is I can still do YouTube videos and play music. Yeah, I could just have a small laptop and little interface and the plugins and still create music for you guys. All of us can do that with the way things are now. It's pretty cool, you know. So, one thing I wanted to revisit real quick here. You know, we talked about tube amps versus plugins, and I think a lot of us agree that at the end of the day, the tube amp just sounds and feels better, but plugins have come so far, and the technology is so awesome that, they're, I don't want to say just as good, but it's doable, it's passable. And when you get everything into the full mix, I don't know if most people really notice a difference. If you did like a blind test, and just heard tones, I bet half of us would not guess which is which. You know, we would just be trying to, I think that's it, so I'll pick it. You know what I mean? So yeah. But the next thing I want to talk about real quick, guys, is modern metal, like a lot of the new stuff you hear coming out, versus the classic metal. You know, like what do you guys think about? Do you guys think there's that big of a difference between today's metal music and just the overall quality, not sound quality? I'm not talking about production, but the quality of the music versus music that was created way back in the day, like some of the early Metallica, the early Megadeth, the early Slayer, Testament, Exodus, Creator, for you Germans out there. Creator's awesome, by the way. Even going to Iron Maiden, you know what I mean? Versus today's, a lot of today's metal that you hear, like even the latest Amon Amarth album. I mean, it's good, but I will say that it's much different from the albums they released, 5, 6, 8 years ago. You know what I mean? Same with Arch Enemy, same with a lot of things. So, what do you guys think about that? I know, Faceless, don't make you choose, dude. I'm sorry, man, I have to. Oh. So, Didi, tribal music in Latin America type, like Brazil, Argentina, Chile. Yeah. Some real cool stuff, dude. Yeah, Faceless dude. I've got a I've got a MacBook downstairs because I use that for for a lot of my writing that I do. So I could totally get by with that though. I've got like this little. I've still got this interface, man. And if I had to go back to it, if I had to go back to this, I would. But this is just a little audio box USB interface from PreSonus. I would probably though opt for the Apollo interface. I can't remember what it's called. I don't know if you guys can see my interface now. I'm trying to move out of the way so you can see it here. But this one back here, you can see the light back there. That's the PreSonus Quantum Tube. And it's not even a full size rack. It's like a half rack size or whatever. So we could even get by with that. I could just stick my laptop on top of that thing and still record. But yeah, to that point, you can do all this stuff that we record music and do this stuff anywhere. Daniel, I play by ear as well, dude. I never learned theory. I'm not saying theory's a bad thing though. Theory's great. So Didi, you grew up old school and new school. So Didi, I'm gonna guess you're probably are you're in like your mid 20s, early 30s, something like that, dude. And I try to think because our age kind of determines like what we grew up with. Like me, I'll be 45 next month. Me and my wife have the same month birthday. She's she looks a lot younger than me, but anyway. So yeah, DD early 20s. That makes sense, man. So because a lot of us metalheads, man, even though we might like today's music, some of today's music, we still, even whether you're 20 years old or 40 years old, you still figure out what the older music was really quickly, man. Because there's just something about those older bands and albums that just last. I love Sepultura, Double G. Sepultura, dude. I listened to them. I listened to them. I heard them live in concert. What was it, about 3 years ago? And actually, I think they were opening for Testament, which, man, that was an epic concert, dude. Sepultura and then Testament. I can't remember what bands. I think Entombed AD opened before those guys and somebody else, but they were good. Didi, yeah, respect the origins of metal, definitely, dude. Faceless, Obituary. I live in a little town called Seffner, Florida, Seffner, and Obituary is actually from this town. And I've got some good friends here in this area too. They're in the band called Siren, and they toured in Germany. They played in Germany last year, but they're from here. This used to be the metal capital of the world. Tampa, Florida, Brandon, Florida, Seffner, where I live. I am trying my best to kind of bring it back up, So, I'm going to bring some good things. We're going to put us back on the map here. Yeah, Didi, you're with some old school bros here, man. We got 40s. What did Craig say? 60? Craig, you're not 61, dude. You don't look like you're 61. The funny thing is, Craig and Faceless and all you got. Well, Faceless, you're still young, dude. You're a lot younger than us, I think. I don't think I saw your age, man. Daniel, you're 42. So the thing is, a lot of people told me, and they probably told you too, that, well, when you get older, you'll grow out of this metal phase, it's just a phase. And I'm thinking, no, because the music I listen to now is actually a lot heavier than what I listened to back then. I don't know, it just, you love it or you don't. So Double G, you're 31. Before we got some 41, we got 42. Man, we got a lot of 40s club. Mike's not even saying, dude. Hey, Mike, I've got something for you to see real quick, dude. Let me grab this. Uh, Mike, I've got a picture of this as well. This is my ESP case. I just put some stickers on it, and I'm sorry it took me so long to do this. And guys, I realize the camera's probably showing this backwards. I don't know if it is, let me know. But that sticker right there. Ariel's Attic. So that is Mike Olson's band. So look that up, guys, and check them out. Ariel's Attic there. They've got some really, really solid stuff. Mike has mastered, and I know I say this every time, some of you probably get tired of hearing it, but Mike has mastered all of my albums to date, and he's done a phenomenal job. And I can't remember how we met online. This almost sounds like a love story, Mike. We met online though, and I can't remember how. I assume it was through YouTube or something like that. But no, he sent me some thick pics to try, which I'm not a fan of thick pics. I tried them for a couple weeks, dude, and so I went back to my thinner pics. But anyway, so he sent me some stickers of his band. So I just put stickers on that case. I have not had any stickers on any of my guitar cases, but I'm like, I was rearranging my studio. I'm like, you know what? We're putting stickers on today. That was part of today's task, my ultimate task. But yeah, Mike, I'll send you a pic, dude. I'll send you. Yeah, it was tenders, thick pics. Oh, Mike, dude. Yeah, they're these kind of pics, guys. Not dick pics, guitar pics, thick pics. That's funny, dude. I had to approve that message, by the way. I don't know if there's a setting where I can turn that off to where it just posts. But yeah, we met on Tinder, Faceless. That's where we met, dude. No, anyway, but yeah, so his band's cool. Look up Ariel's Attic. They've got some, or just go to his profile there. They've got some really cool stuff going. Mike, I've actually got two. I've got one of your CDs, Garden of the Gods. I can't remember, I thought I had two. I'm not sure. I had to go check. My CDs, like I said, just rearrange everything, and everything is everywhere. Oh man. So you was doing radio and found one of my tracks. Oh wow, dude. So you found my track on radio. That's cool, man. That's awesome, dude. So, Faceless, you like the thicker ones too, man. Huh, cool. But Mike, I thought you had some solo stuff too, though, dude. I could be wrong. I know you've got, some. Yeah, I know you're working on your second one there. Definitely. Again, guys, I'm drinking Unholy by Coppertail. I've been nursing this beer. I've not even, I barely drank half of it since the time we've been on because it's a 9.5 percenter. So these are those beers that you definitely don't want to chug. Because if you chug them, you're going to be falling over, man. And that's just not my speed these days. I like to enjoy my beer. So this is really good. Yeah, Cryptic, I'm a little different when it comes to picks and I play light strings. I play 10 through 46s, and I think this goes up, my 7 string goes up to 52 if I'm not mistaken. Not really sure. But I tried thick picks, so I'm grabbing them now. Mike sent me several picks, man, and I tried them all. What did you send me here, Mike? These are just two of the picks Mike sent me. Man, these are cool looking picks. This is the Dunlop 2.0. That thing right there. And then, you guys can see that. And this is a Dunlop. They got a cool alligator on here. I like gators. Well, I don't want to be too close to them. But that's a Dunlop 1.5. And the funny thing is, they feel great, man. They feel awesome. And I may go back to them from time to time. Actually, I found that my sweep arpeggios were a little bit better with this. But for some reason, man, I ended up going back to my max grip Dunlop. And you'll see the little ridges on here. 0.60. That's my go-to pick right there, man. 0.60. And I use light strings. That's just what I do. There's another pick I want to show you guys real quick. This is another pick I find myself going to a lot. And I'm sorry this thing is so dirty. These are the brain picks, and this is a 0.73, and that's, so about 0.60 and 0.73. Those are kind of like my speed of picks that I stick with. But I also play a lot of leads and stuff like that. I don't know that makes a difference, and it may be one of those things where I'm just so used to it. You get used to how it goes. So Dee Dee, you owe it to your dad who got you into old school metal. What an awesome dad, dude. Man, what an awesome dad. Yeah, that is cool. Because Dee Dee, I grew up, and my parents are amazing. They're the most amazing parents in the world. I could not ask for better. But just the community I grew up in, the surrounding was kind of Bible belty. And look, nothing against that. That's to each their own. I mean, different things, different strokes for different folks. That's what my 5th grade teacher used to say. I'd ask her, why don't you do this? I'm like, Jason, different strokes, different folks. And later in life, I got it. And I'm like, okay. But no, it was just kind of frowned upon to listen to that devil music, heavy metal music. Although I did have my Metallica tapes and I had certain things, but I kind of knew my line I didn't cross, if that makes sense. So my parents certainly weren't into metal music, but you know, they still supported me as a guitar player and made sure I had the things that I needed to pursue that dream. You know, so I thank them for that. I wouldn't, probably wouldn't be sitting right here, uh, you know, if it weren't for them in that regard. I mean, obviously, if they didn't have me, I wouldn't be here. But you know, but in that regard, as a musician, had they not supported me, I don't know. I may have stopped at some point. Like, well, this is just too much of a hassle. Who knows? But yeah. Anyway, though, so yeah, I didn't get like turned on to a lot of the good music. I felt like I kind of had to sneak it here and there. So my box of music was really tiny. I had Metallica, Guns N' Roses, a little bit of Slayer and blah. And back in those days, I was actually listening to a lot of Christian metal. I listened to this band called White Cross. Rex Carroll, their guitar player, was just freaking phenomenal. I'm sure he still is. This band called Guardian. I went to I went to a death metal show. There was a death metal Christian back then, and it probably still is today. And Craig, if you're still on, you know Mortification. So Mortification, I saw them live. That was my first real concert, Mortification in Atlanta, Georgia, and that was, dude, that was probably like 94, 95. Craig, I am gonna get with you soon, brother. I've been promising Craig, project bass player, guitar 777. We will chat. It's probably gonna be over the weekend, dude. Tomorrow is Candy's birthday. Tomorrow's my wife's birthday, so I am I am hands off tomorrow on any kind of internet or social media. I don't. I might post something early that morning, early or tomorrow morning, but I'm not working at all tomorrow. I'm gonna spend the day with her, and we're just gonna hang out and do whatever. So, but we will get together. So Mike, 9 to 46 in E flat, dude. That's interesting, man. I have been thinking about switching to getting my lower E string to that 9 because I play a 10 now, and I played a friend of mine's guitar. He had a really nice Paul Reed Smith, and I think he had 9 through 46 on his, and just the leads, I was like, oh my god, I need to change. That was just beautiful, man. So Mike, I may be connecting with you, and I've actually thought about down tuning one of my 6 strings too, just for the heck of it. Uh, so Faceless, you got 2 guitars, 11 52s, woo, and then you've got one with 9 through 46. Okay, so Faceless, dude, which one do you like better though, man? Like which guitar, which one do you gravitate more towards? Or does it depend on what you're playing the style? I'm just curious about that, dude, because it's good to have different guitars. All right, so acoustic, your uncle is in Tampa and retired from the CIA. Wow, dude. Yeah, hey, we're Central Command here, dude. We've got Medill Air Force Base, so it's that type of scenario down here for a lot of people. It's cool. Um, Older Under Oath. I need to listen to Under Oath Double G. I need to go back and listen to them, dude. So you're in Charlotte, North Carolina. Awesome, dude. Mike, yeah, I'm in standard tuning, dude. Everything I have is standard tuning. It always has been. I've never down tuned or detuned or any of that. Not for a long period of time, anyway. I think a lot of that has to do because all my guitars have freaking Floyds. They have floating tremolos, and I don't want to go through the pain in the assness of setting everything up to cater to that. You know what I mean? So yeah. DD, so you like the thrash, the old school, heavy, and new metal, but no rap shit. Nice, dude. Yeah, some of the new metal without the rap. I'm not a rap fan either, dude. And if you guys like the rap stuff, hey, that's fine. Remember I just said different strokes for different folks. We all like different things. I like a lot of non-metal stuff that you guys may think is trash. You know what I mean? I was listening to a band today that was completely not metal. They're called the 77s, and they've been around for a long time. Very underrated, but kind of more of a bluesy type style. But yeah, dude. But I'm kind of with you on that, DD. Some of the new metal stuff was okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like if I have to listen to it, I was like, okay. But if they start rapping, I'm out, dude. I'll have to get out of the car and walk or whatever. So yeah. 11. The 11 is a Schecter. Plays so good, man. but you practice on your Horizon and standard. Okay, gotcha, dude. Yeah, you're right, Mike. Easy on the vocal cords because my vocal range is, I don't want to say it's extremely limited. So, but yeah, I hear you on that, dude. Mike, I actually thought about tuning at one point to Arch Enemy's tuning to, they tune all the way down to a C sharp, and then that would be easy for me to play on acoustic because you can play that C sharp minor on your acoustic with those last two strings open, and it just sounds beautiful, and it fits very well with an open B and an A and E and F sharp minor and all that. So I was thinking about that because I'm planning on integrating just a little bit of acoustic stuff into my next album. It's not going to be acoustic, but there's going to be a couple parts and songs. I don't know if you guys heard my Apocalyptic Dreams album, where the very end of the song Apocalyptic Dreams has like a little acoustic thing to it. So I want to put some more stuff like that into my music. So yeah. Yeah, I bet it does sound gnarlier, dude. So yeah, thank you, Faceless. Cattle Decapitation is probably the most brutal bands that I play in E flat. I've got to go back and listen to them. What I remember hearing some of their stuff, and they are brutal, dude. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. So Mike, you did a couple songs in drop C and D flat. Wow, dude. So Mike, how do you get around? Do you just have different guitars like tuned to that already, or I know you got several guitars. Like, how do you pull that off, dude? Or do you just tune the guitar differently for different songs? Because I do plan like my next album. I'm not just gonna play my 7 string like I did for Masterpiece. I'm actually gonna play my 6 string, even though they're standard tuning. There's still a little bit different sound on my 6 string than on my 7, and I'll probably switch off and switch back and forth with guitars for leads and that sort of thing. Yeah, dude, you guys had the female vocalist, Mike. And she's got an amazing voice, dude. I love her voice. It's very unique. She does not sound like anybody else, and that's awesome. A lot of singers, they sound like other singers. And look, my hats off to them. Anybody that sings at all, it's a difficult task because singing is not easy. Because singing is where people are the most critical. It's where the most critics come out. It's like they'll like smack your voice down in a heartbeat. So anyone that gets up there and sings and puts stuff out, I have a lot of admiration for them, especially if they're halfway decent. But Mike's band, he's got a phenomenal female vocalist, and like she does not sound like anybody. Nobody else out there sounds like her. So that's what's really cool, dude. Grace Slick meets Nancy Sinatra. Awesome, dude. Double G, I don't think my 7 string's a baritone. I'm gonna sound real stupid when I ask this, dude, but like, what's the difference between a baritone and a regular guitar? I don't know. It's my 7 string is just a 7 string guitar. It is in standard tuning, so it's in E to E, but then that heavy string is a B. So just standard tuning, dude. Okay, longer scale. Like I made myself sound like a complete dumbass, dude. As long as I've been in the music business. Uh, yeah, no, it's not, dude. No, it's not a baritone. No, it's just a normal. Thanks, guys. Well, Mark Oz is on. Who won, dude? I think we decided that tube amps do sound better. There's that air push that comes out, but plugins are so good these days, so great these days that it's just when you record the final product, I honestly don't know that anybody can really tell the difference when you at one because you got to think about it when you record your tube amp when that signal goes through your studio, it's got to be digitized, and when you do all the mixing and the mastering and all the plugins and all the compression and EQs and everything that goes with it, that guitar track that you recorded with your tube amp is no longer the same thing. You know what I mean? So, and not saying it sounds better or worse, but it's just not the same. That signal has been tampered with. So when I really sit down and compare it to a plug-in, I don't know that there's a lot of difference. Dude, Mike, that's an awesome thing to do, man. Use your tube amps for your rhythms and your Axe FX for soloing. It's one of the things I thought about doing with this next album. I'm gonna be using my EVH amp, and I seriously thought about it, like, well, I could do my rhythms with an amp, But then for leads, it's a little bit easier because I like some really nice delays and stuff like that. It's a little bit easier to do the leads in the studio. And plus, when I play guitar solos, guys, I will seriously record literally like 100 guitar freaking tracks for just like a 15-second solo. And I'm kind of like anal retentive and probably like 10 other words that I can't pronounce when it comes to laying down guitar solos because I'm like, I've I've got to get it just perfect or what I think is perfect, and then I'll play it perfectly, but then I'll screw up one note, and I'm like, seriously, dude. So I will literally record 100 guitar tracks, So that's kind of unrealistic to do that with a tube amp. Plugins is much easier. The JJ tubes and the 6L6, yeah, dude. Now I have my EVH has the EL34 tubes in it. I was gonna get the 6L6 version because I played through that before and that was sounded pretty awesome. But then my buddy had the EL34 version, and I'm like, let me play through that and let me see. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm liking this thing, man. So yeah, yeah, dude. 4-1 passage, and then keep going. Delete. Yeah, Mike. That's exactly what I do, man. But I'm a little bit more stupid about it, and I'm going to be honest. I will record a guitar track, and I might have everything perfect except for one part, and I'll delete that whole track and go record again. And so I got to stop doing that, man. It's like, because you can mix these things together. You can like record half of it great, and then kind of punch in and finish the rest of it. You know what I mean? If you do something you don't like. So the PRS MT15. I know Mike just got that. Dude, I've got to do some more research on that. I'd like to play through one of those. I wish we had a guitar store that had like cool amps close by. I don't have much here in my area where I live. I have to go way across town to do that, and of course everything's closed anyway. Man, yeah, I want to try one of those. Mike, I'd like to do the entire solo in one shot. And I'm gonna start making myself do that. I'm gonna start making myself. I'm just gonna play it and then, you know, whatever comes out comes out. Just capture that moment. So Faceless, you're gonna play one, brother Faceless. It's not Saturday where you are yet. It's Friday where you're at. Yeah. All right, guys. So we've had a good time tonight, man. I am still using my phone as a camera. I'm about to upgrade my camera equipment here pretty soon, but I have a feeling this thing is gonna die pretty soon because we've been going for about an hour and a half. So, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. I have got links in the description of this video if you guys want to support me. I know a lot of you support me on a regular basis. Thank you for that. But I've got links in the YouTube description of this video. One, going to where you can sign up for my free guitar guide. If you guys haven't got that practice guide, do that now. Let that be the first thing you do. Also, a link going to my shop. And I think I've got a link going to my Patreon. I just started Patreon, by the way, guys. A lot of you have been egging me to get on that. But I finally got on there, and I've got a few supporters already. And what I'm basically doing is a lot of my YouTube videos, I am expanding on a lot of that stuff and giving you just more value, of course, as a Patreon member. Like the last YouTube video I released, once we log off here, guys, go back and watch the last video I posted. This is an extremely helpful video for your rhythm playing. But what I did was I've got the backing track on an MP3 and a PDF file for the guitar tabs, and that's what I'm giving my Patreon members. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing on Patreon, and of course, it's another way to support me as well. So definitely do that. If it's not in the description, just look up my name on Patreon, or I'll put it in there real quick after this video. So guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. I appreciate you all. And have an awesome night. Have an awesome weekend. Remember, tomorrow you probably won't hear anything from me on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or any of those platforms because I'm going to be celebrating my wife's birthday, May 1st. What an awesome day that's going to be. It's cool to have a birthday on May 1st, too. But, yeah, guys, keep it metal. I will see you soon. Have a good weekend. Be safe out there, guys. I've got to turn this around now so I can turn it off. So you're going to see a blank wall for a little bit.